Space Mountain opened in Magic Kingdom in 1975. That's 51 years ago. It's the same year that the Carousel of Progress opened. It's the same year that Jaws debuted in theaters. And it's even the same year that Saturday Night Live premiered, which is even crazier to think about. Space Mountain is literally older than most of the parents bringing their kids to the Disney parks right now. This ride is literally one of the most iconic rides in theme park history. It's one of the first rides that millions of kids ever really rode that felt like a true thrill ride. It's an experience, it's a memory, and for me personally, I have ridden this ride across 20 years of Disney trips, and each time I've gone, it's meant something completely different to me. And according to a recent rumor that's gaining serious traction, this ride could shut down potentially as early as January 2027 for a major reimagining. Today, I want to break down everything that we know and what we don't know that's currently going on with Space Mountain, because I think this attraction deserves more than a headline, and I think you should know about it. Let me be upfront right now before we even talk about what's going to go on with Space Mountain and really get into the nitty-gritty details. As of right now, Disney has not officially released anything about Space Mountain inside of Magic Kingdom at Disney World in Orlando about getting any type of reimagining, makeover, demolished, whatever you want to think of it. Disney has not officially made a statement of any kind to say that this is happening. It's just a rumor that's coming from a really, really good, reliable source. And based on some of the things that's happened recently and across the globe, it's a really big possibility that I would probably lean more to saying that it's going to happen. So here's the report. It's coming straight from WDW Magic, one of the most reliable Disney industry forums, and subsequent coverage of multiple major Disney news outlets, all pointing to the same direction. And here's what the rumor says. Disney is reportedly in the early planning stages of a full-scale interior rebuild of Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. According to sources, the primary goal would be a complete track replacement. The existing steel coaster track is well over 50 years old now, and beyond, the track rumors suggest a significant creative reimagining of the overall experience inside of its dome. Now, here's where things get way more interesting. A popular post on WDW Magic's forum summarizing the industry conversations claims Disney could be planning several major changes, including new ride vehicles, updated show elements, and a reimagined storyline from the original ideation. The same source suggests that Disney could officially reveal the project at this year's D23 Expo over in Florida, which is, of course, if you don't know, one of Disney's major fan conventions that Disney kind of likes to spill all of its tea for its future projects. And then before that, they would essentially close it either late 2026, but most likely in January of 2027 after we get through the holiday season. Hey, I want to pause right here just for a second. I promise it's not going to be long. Hit like and subscribe to keep up with all the Disney stuff that's happening in the parks right now, and for family planning content for those that are looking to go on their first or next Disney trip and they're new with kids, or they're just looking to go with their toddlers to get the best experience possible. Also, come find me on Whatnot at Happy Place Studios, the same name as this channel you're on right now, for Disney and Universal collectibles and Loungefly. And oh, by the way, I give away a lot of cool stuff all the time. Hard tag Loungefly wallets, bags, accessories, all sorts of goodies. And I'm live pretty much daily. I am taking a break next week because we do have a new baby on the way, which we're really excited about. But make sure you come catch me on Happy Place Studios. There's a link in my description of this video or on the main channel, where if you sign up and you've never been on Whatnot, you can get some free money to apply to any purchases that you have over on the app. So go catch me there, and back to your regularly tuned video. See you there. Most industry analysts estimate a full Space Mountain reimagining would take close to 2 years, putting a reopening of earliest at Christmas of 2028, in which that would probably be the best case scenario, or more realistically based on the past. Now, Disney's been really crazy with their full cycle construction right now, and they've been making crazy progress, but just going off past, probably somewhere early 2029, maybe like spring. And here's the context that makes this rumor feel like the weight, like really credible rather than just speculation. Look at what Disney has been doing with its classic attractions as of late, especially like the last 18 months or so. Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, completely overhauled. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, full track replacement. Rock and Roller Coaster rethemed to the Muppets. Carousel of Progress is currently closed for a full reimagine. And then Frozen Ever After got the upgraded animatronics that everybody was longing for. Disney Imagineering has explained this or described this pattern really explicitly as calling it leaving it better than what they found it. Every classic attraction is being evaluated and improved for new generations and guests for years to come, and Space Mountain is the most logical next step or domino in the entire process of this reimagining sequence. And then there's the Tokyo factor. Because what Tokyo Disneyland just did to their version of Space Mountain is genuinely remarkable. I mean, if you haven't seen it, or the ideation of it is crazy. And it tells us how far Disney is truly willing to go when they decide a classic attraction needs a renovation. In 2024, Tokyo Disneyland did something that would have seemed absolutely astronomical 10 years ago. They didn't just refurbish their Space Mountain. They didn't just update it and give it a new track. They completely bulldozed the entire project flat to the ground. The entire ride, the entire building, they tore down one of the most beloved attractions, and they're building a brand new Space Mountain from the ground up, and it's north of 10 billion yen. And it's estimated to open up in 2027, but it's looking forward to what the future really could be, fitting the original ideation of Tomorrowland. Now, let me be clear here. No one really thinks that Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, is going to bulldoze their Space Mountain Dome. That giant, beautiful white building has been there forever, and it's one of the most recognizable structures in all of theme park history. It's literally beloved. It's like an genuine architectural, cultural significance, and that's a lot of big words for me. It's just crazy to go, you look at that building and it looks like you would find something out of the future. The exterior, in my opinion, is almost certainly going to stay. Almost certain. But the interior, the track, the ride vehicles, the show elements, pretty much all of that is fair game. And the Tokyo project proves that something is important about to happen, as Disney as a company has made a deliberate decision that the Space Mountain brand needs a 21st century glow up. They're not trying to preserve it in amber anymore or just leave it on a shelf. They're investing in what it becomes next for the future generations. And here's the detail that I think is being underreported right now in this entire story. Imagineers who have spoken about the recent wave of attraction refurbishments have specifically said it isn't just about the nostalgia anymore. It's about making sure these rides can serve guests for the next 50 years. A steel coaster track from 1975 cannot run forever. A track replacement isn't just an upgrade, it's a maintenance necessity that was going to come regardless of creative imagination or nostalgia. So we know what the rumor says, and we know Tokyo proved it's possible to just completely get rid of it. And we know that Disney is in an active mode right now, reinvesting in their classic attractions to make sure that they can survive the next 50 years. Here's what I want to get into that actually matters for families, and what does this actually mean for your trips, and what actually might this attraction become? Starting with planning, because that's the most practical use of our time here, I want to emphasize that this is still a rumor and Space Mountain stays open at least through the end of this year. That means anyone visiting Disney World this year should still be able to ride it in its current glory, if you want to say it that way. If your family has a trip booked through December of 2026, I'm going to bet that this ride will still be there for you. The closure, if it happens, I would say would likely follow the holiday season, because we all know how busy Disney gets at this time of year. So January 2027 is probably the earliest, and I would probably say late January 2027. And the reimagined version of Space Mountain, based on most estimates, would say that this wouldn't reopen at least until Christmas of 2028. That's a 2-year plus window where Space Mountain would be completely gone as we know it, and probably never to return. If Space Mountain is on your family's must-do list, like you're like, I have to get it done, I've never had the chance, and I've always wanted to, and in my personal opinion, I would think it's on most first-timers, I would not wait. Book your trip for early as December is this year. Or latest as December is 2026 this year. Jeez. So go and ride it if you want to know what it's like to ride Space Mountain. And not because I think the new version of this ride is going to be worse. In fact, I probably think that it's going to be better than the original. But because the original is a piece of history and your kids deserve, and you deserve, to experience what has been making families scream in the dark for 50 years, that's why I say you need to ride it now. All right, so here's the fun part. Nobody knows officially, but let's look at the clues. What is going to become of Space Mountain? The most credible speculation from Disney industry sources is that this reimagining will not add a major IP at all. So sorry, Buzz Lightyear fans or Star Wars fans that thought this would be reimagined into one of those. That's not happening. The Incredibles, Meet the Robinsons, Tomorrowland the movie, also unlikely based on current reporting. The gut feeling among most of the closest to this rumor says zero IP will be added to this attraction, and it's going to stay the original Space Mountain with zero IP. Just a reimagined Space Mountain story that fits more of the modern age and feels more immersive than the old technology allowed it to be. So what could it look like? Most likely better onboard audio, since the current ride is notoriously inconsistent with sound, enhanced show lighting and projection effects inside the dome, smoother tracks with potentially more elaborate sequences, and an updated ride vehicles that are more comfortable and immersive for our audience or just everyday passengers to enjoy. The Bones of Space Mountain is a dark indoor coaster and a geodesic dome with a space adventure theme. Those things are genuinely great and what made the attraction what it is today. The execution just needs a 21st century facelift, kind of. And here's my personal take as a Disney dad. I've ridden Space Mountain nearly, probably 30 or more times over the course of 20 years, and I know every bump and turn inside of this attraction, and it really made this event or feeling you get on the coaster unlike anything else you would experience at another theme park. But here's what I would say as well to go with the positive. Honestly, a smoother track, better audio, and a more elaborate show elements that tell a better story will keep the spirit of the attraction alive. And I think it's what Space Mountain needs to carry on for the next 50 years. I don't think it needs a reinvention of any kind. It just needs the next step in the evolution of what the coaster could be for our future generations. And here's where I want to land the plane on all of this. Space Mountain Reimagined is just a rumor right now. Plain and simple. It's a credible one from really good sources, but completely unconfirmed. Disney hasn't announced anything. We'll probably know more very soon, like within the next couple of weeks, with D23 later this year, that the reveal of the rumor is probably going to come, if it is to come. What I do believe is something is coming to Space Mountain. What for sure, no one really knows. The 50-year-old track needs attention regardless of a creative update or not. Tokyo proved that Disney is willing to go as far as they could and need to go to get the ride to the 21st century and beyond. And the pattern of this investment in classic attractions over the last 18 months makes Space Mountain the most logical next step in Disney's reinvention, retheming process that they've been doing with the current state of attractions. If you love Space Mountain, again, I cannot reiterate this enough, you should probably go this year. If you've been putting off a Disney trip, this is another reason to really stop waiting. And if you're nervous about what the new version will be, I hear you, trust me, but I encourage you to trust the process. The Imagineers and the team at Disney are insanely talented. Big Thunder Mountain came back better. Buzz Lightyear came back better. Disney has been getting these things right about their attractions recently, and with their current investment in future projects, completely new projects, I would say Disney's Imagineering team is on an all-time high compared to when Disney first opened. Here's what I want you to do. Drop in the comments. How do you feel about the whole Space Mountain reimagining rumor? Are you excited, nervous? Are you somewhere just kind of in the middle of it and you're just like, whatever happens, happens? I genuinely want to know, because this is one of those Disney conversations where everyone has strong feelings about it, and I really, really want to hear yours to see, as a community, what do we want in the next step of evolution of the Disney theme parks? And if you want to understand the full picture of what Disney is building right now, the Fifth Gate, the Epic Games play, if you're into Fortnite, the whole physical digital future of what Disney could become, go watch my future plan video. Everything happening to Space Mountain and Tomorrowland connects to a much bigger picture, and the link is right here.